Hi there. I'm Liliana, and yeah, I am here to do a book vlog because I wanted to really share another aspect of myself. I really like reading, if you couldn't tell behind me and over here. I'm a big I'm a big like reader. I love to read. I'm also an author too, so books are my passion. And I just wanted to kind of share where I am on my reading journey. At least this month, it's a new year, and I've been kind of getting creative in reading. I went through a reading funk where I kind of, well, let's just put it this way: I didn't read as much as I wanted last year, which was fine. Um, I did. I just thought I would like get into reading a little bit more, and so here I am. And I've been watching book vloggers on YouTube, and they gave me the idea of a prompt jar, and so I did that for January, and it's been helpful, and I've been able to read a little bit more. Um, Let me tell you a little bit about my main genres of reading, even though I'm open to reading pretty much anything other than horror. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty much horror. I don't really like horror. I love romance, and I have quite a few romance novels. I also like fantasy. I also like paranormal. Um, I also sometimes like thriller or cozy mysteries. Definitely more cozy mysteries than anything. Yeah, and just a variety of books. I like to say that I am mostly a secondhand reader because I don't have access to any like really big bookstores where I live. It's mostly small local used bookstores, and so that's basically where I get my books. And um, I like it anyway because I get a whole different variety of books coming through, and feels good too to save like old books that just need another chance at life and to be picked up and read again. So, how about I go ahead and show you what I've been reading based off of the prompts I got from the jar. Um, yeah, and let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, but before we do, let's have a sip of some Earl Grey. Yeah. Okay. So I wrote down what prompts I had for this month. So I'll be looking downwards. So my first prompt was I got reread a book you read as a kid. So I picked up Matilda by Ron Darrell. So I reread this book I read this book so much as a kid. It was one of my favorites. And I'm absolutely loving rereading it now as an adult because, well, it just was happened. I was at my local bookstore, and this was actually before I picked this prompt, and I went in and I was having a rough day, and then this beautiful prize stood out to me, and it was just like because it's definitely a comfort book for me, and I love rereading it now because it's like you can look at Matilda in different eyes, like a different view. And that's how I'm taking it now. Of like, I didn't realize how much bull she had to go through when she was a kid, and her parents who were very toxic, and how resilient she was, and the beautiful skills of finding an outlook through books, and her mind, and her imagination, and able to finding people, Miss Honey, for example, to really help support her. And so I've been loving rereading this. I'm not too far into it right now. I've been reading it pretty casually. And I think she's I'm at the point where she meets the principal at her school. So, yeah. Next one, a book with an illustration on the cover. Okay, let me see what I... So, I really haven't been able to pick one for this. And that was kind of like what kind of threw me off. I'm like, I'm not sure if I had anything on an illustrated cover. But then I did find something, and let me grab my Kindle real quick and show you. Alright, so what I discovered I wanted to read. Let me see. Maybe this a little bit better. There you go. Now you can see it. This is called 100 Days of Actions and Intentions to Create the Life You Wish For. So it is a law of attraction book for the most part, and I've really been enjoying doing this. I kind of read it at random. I read it every morning and every night. What I do when I say random, I use the random number generator, and it picks a number for me, and then I read it for that day of whatever prompt it is. It's just really beautiful because it has these prompts where a lot of I am statements, and they really help with like positive mindset and really helping with like gratitude and really helping you focus on what your intentions are. And that's been really wonderful for me, especially in the beginning of January. So I'm enjoying this a lot. And yeah, and I thought the illustration has like a little fairy on there. So I enjoy it. Alright, let me see. What else do we have? Okay. Reread an old favorite. So I did that already. I finished this. It's Under the Mistletoe by Mary Brawl. This one is an absolute favorite of mine. I've been extending my holiday reading because I love to read in the holidays. I usually start in November, like Christmas books. And I do a lot of rereads of old favorites. It's just, well, I don't really have a chance to watch too many holiday, like Hallmark Christmas movies, so I pick up the books that have like those cozy romances, and so this is one of them. It is a historical romance, and it has 5 different stories in it, and so I really enjoyed reading this. And one of my favorite is A Family Christmas, which is about a story about a couple that had an arranged marriage, and they just didn't really get along too well. There was a lot of like confliction where the relationship was more about their parents than themselves, and so that kind of tore it apart. And then they were estranged for many months, but they came back together for Christmas and got to know each other on a whole new level, and really get just to know each other as people, and they fell in love, and they got back together. So it was very sweet. It's one of my favorites. Alright, the next one I have for a prompt was read a graphic novel. And that was interesting because I don't usually read graphic novels all that much, but my kiddo, they love graphic novels so much, and so they've been recommending me to read The Tea Dragon Society. And this was so cute. I loved it so much. It had such a good moral to the story, and it took me about 30 minutes to read. It was very, very short, but a beautiful illustrated book and a beautiful story. Like I said, pretty much about, withholding tradition and how important it is to withhold tradition and cherish the memories that we have, and what and the memories we make with other people. So it was a very beautiful book, and I am really glad my kiddo recommended this for me. All right, I'm going to have another sip. Okay. A book with stars on the cover. So I got 2 for this. So one I am currently reading that I didn't quite finish at over the holidays, and I'm actually reading this with my kiddo. And this is The Enchanted Sonnet. It's a retelling of the Nutcracker, and there's 44 chapters in it, and we are on chapter 32, so very close to finishing it. It's definitely a very interesting retelling. I've been enjoying it, though. It's been very action-packed. That's the best I can describe it. It's very action-packed, especially with the rats. And like it describes the rats in a lot of detail. But it's been something really like a beautiful book to read together. What we do is that we each read a chapter out loud. Sometimes it's just like we are only able to get to one chapter a night during bedtime, and we rotate reads what, but pretty much it's just a beautiful retelling, and yeah, it's pretty much, goes through that where Clara is a musician, piano is her main focus, and she's gets this mysterious fairy tale book that kind of tells the story of the Nutcracker. And anyway, she ends up in the Nutcracker world, like the Flawless Ballet, but there's pretty much a war going on, and the main is the rats are the problem, but there's also a villain who has the gift of music, who's using it in not such good ways and casts spells over everything. And anyway, her and the Nutcracker have to figure out how to stop the villain. And so, yeah, it's very, very good. And so we're enjoying reading it. And one I haven't quite started yet, but I'm in the beginning too. And this is definitely one from my Christmas reading that I just didn't get to. Is How the Dukes Stole Christmas. And it has a few stars on the cover, like right here, underlined. You can see more on the back. So anyway, this is a book with 4 different authors. Right now I am reading The Duke of Christmas Present by Sarah McLean. Basically because that's the one that stood out to me. So yeah. I don't even really know too much what it's about, and so I wanted to read that one for some reason, like because I never read Sarah McLean, so I thought I'd give that a shot. So I won't tell you too much because I don't really know too much about it yet. So, but it's a pretty cover. Okay. Read the next book in a series. Okay. So when I pulled that prompt, I didn't have any ongoing series going on. I currently read through all my series that I was reading. So, but with that being said, I did find a book I wanted to read on Kindle that was the beginning book in the series. So, I changed that prompt a little bit. And I am reading Holiday Hope. Let me show you the cover. I'm trying to. There we go. There you go. Now you can see it. And this is by Shanna Hatfield. And it is a very sweet story. It is a Western, romance, historical Western. And how I found that book was I love Jodie Thomas books, um, and I wanted to read something with her style, especially kind of like her Lottery Wives um, books series, which I've read and reread so many times. I love it. And that came up in recommendation, and I saw it, and it was a very pretty cover, and the cover drawn to me, and I love it. And it's pretty much about a mail order bride who goes out west to marry this man who she thinks has interest in her, but it turns out he doesn't. His father kind of deceived her because the father wanted his son to kind of straighten out with finding a woman to marry. And anyway, but she falls in love with the brother who is runs a train in the farm, and it's just a very, very sweet romance. It's very relaxing. I usually read this at night when I'm ready to fall asleep, where I have my room very dim, and I have some fairy lights on, and I pick up a Kindle, and I read it in bed, and I fall asleep to that. It's very cozy and relaxing story, and I've been enjoying it. I thought I wouldn't really enjoy historical romance and Western, but I'm feeling like this is a new genre I'm going to get into in the coming year, basically because, I don't know, it just feels good for me to read right now, especially like the covers. So, yeah, that's what I'm reading right now. Alright, so this book I'm reading is not really part of any prompts right now, but I am, like I said, I'm trying to finish up some of my holiday book reading between now and Valentine's Day, because I do have a couple of Valentine's Day books I want to read. Well, when I say Valentine's Day, it's like the setting takes place around that time. So, this is Sabrina Jeffries' "'Twas the Night Before After Christmas," and I'm in chapter 1, and it's pretty much about, so far what has happened is just about this young boy, probably the hero in the book, where he had a really rough childhood. It takes place in a carriage time. Takes place around Christmas, and a distant cousin picks him up for Christmas, and he thought he was going to go home to his family, but it turns out that's not what happened. His father is very controlling, and he gets that feeling like his father doesn't like him, and he's close to his mother, but his mother just really doesn't have any say in the relationship with her son and how he's raised, and so the mother's just doesn't really stand up for him, and so he could definitely feel that confliction, and so he ends up spending time with his distant cousin during the Christmas, and I think it helps him out because he just he's just a very sensitive boy, and I don't know, it's just a very interesting beginning chapter, and so that's where I'm at right now with it, and yeah, and I thought it would be good since it says after Christmas, and so I'm giving it a shot. Alright, so I did get some recent books from my local used bookstore, and I'm excited. So this one is not Christmas, but it definitely has like the winter feeling to it, as you can see in the background. And it also takes place at a ski lodge, like a wedding ski lodge going on. So pretty much the main heroine, what's her name? Tess. she wants to have a baby, but not really. She's not in a relationship, and she's not really interested in a long-term relationship, but she wants to have a child. And then she meets Logan, and they agree to. He agrees to give her a child. It's kind of a relationship of convenience. In exchange for she pretends to be his girlfriend for his mother. And anyway, they end up falling in love, and yeah. And so I like this kind of stories, the marriage of convenience, and so it looks really cute. I love the cover, very cozy, and yeah, very pretty. All right, so I have, like I said, I'm thinking I'm getting into historical westerns for at least a little bit through this year. We have A Bride Opens a Shop in El Dorado, California by Kelly Gwen. And I like the cover it drew to me. She looks like a very strong woman, and I like the background. Anyway, it sounded like a cute story. Pretty much what it's about. From the back, it said that she agrees to open a shop with a partner, like a mercantile shop. But she doesn't mention that she's a woman. She gets out there, and the guy disagrees to open a shop with her, but she decides to open up her own. And she's a single mom too, which is like really fantastic. And anyway, yeah, so, and then she meets a man along the way and falls in love, and yeah, it just sounds really cute. Okay, so this, I was attracted to the cover, and I guess I could probably use this book if I wanted to for an illustrated cover, because it does look illustrated. So if I do get that prompt again, I may use it, or if I feel like I want to take on another book this month, which we have about a week and a half left of January, I'm not sure. I think I want to just focus on what I'm reading right now. But anyway, this is so adorable. It's called Tea and Treachery, a Tea by the Sea mystery. Yeah, so it's just a cozy mystery about like a woman. Lily is her name, and she opens a tea shop at Cape Cod, and then there's a mystery, a murder that happens near her. Then of course she's accused of part of the murder, and she has to I think that's what happens. Yeah. I it's been a while since I read the back of it, so she has to like solve the murder. I don't know if she's actually involved or not. I have to reread the back. And then I saw this one on Amazon over a year ago, and I really thought it was so adorable. It's a sparkling a murder, a fairy garden mystery. And look at the cover. Look at cute little kitty. And of course it's about fairies. I like fairies. And so, yeah, and it's pretty much like the same thing. Like this woman, she used to be a landscaper, Courtney, and she decided to, instead of following the conventional landscaping business with her family, she decided to open up her own shop that teaches people how to do fairy gardens. And anyway, there's another murder, and I think it's near her, and she has to figure out the problem and figure out the murder and solve it. So it looks definitely very cute and pretty. Yeah, I definitely was attracted to the cover, I have to admit. So yeah, so that's what I have for today. I thought I would go ahead and, like I said, share a little bit about my passion and why I just love to read. And I'm looking forward to reading more in 24. And so, yeah. So, thank you so much for watching, even if this held your interest. Anyway, Bye for now.